Besides sending the police, you might want to send an ambulance or a hearse.
Hello, Billy Ho here. Week 18 NFL Friday, kind of a one and done video for me on this NFL. This whole week's been kind of jacked up. Really concentrating on PGA, which is my number one if I had a list of two that I like to do the most in creating content. Golf, and it's the first week of the season, so everybody's excited about that. But week 18 is the last week of the season, and not everybody is as excited because, after what happened Monday night and everything, people reflect on their lives and they're not going to play that game. So that's news number one. That's if you don't already know, if you've been living under a rock, they are not going to continue that game that they postponed Monday night. So basically, I have an article out this week and a link that'll show you. Just click the link, it'll take you right to all the scenarios and everything. I didn't exactly agree with how everything went down, but what can you do? The guy, he could have died, and that would have been awful. So it is what it is. We're going to get into about 8 games. There's more games. If I kind of something catches my eyes, we're going down. I'll go through it, but I have 8 games in the article published right now, and we're going to take a look at those. So here we go. Okay, and this is the article I was referring to. If you haven't already seen it, I posted on Twitter. I share it with my Discord. It's completely free. The link is in the description to this video, and it's basically it's kind of just like a preview article for the Sunday main slate DraftKings, and I really like it. It gives you a preview of the game. Some players I kind of highlight, some players that I'm kind of interested in, and I give pricing DraftKings wise. And I'll give scenarios, like the Chiefs lose Saturday. Obviously, the Bills can get the number 1 seed. But if the Chiefs win on Saturday, this game is decided. The Bills can only maintain the 2 seed. So if they were to lose, they could drop to the 3 seed if the Bengals won. At least I think that's the way it plays out. Not 100, but the New England and Buffalo game was the first game on the card I wanted to talk about. New England has to win. They're to get into the playoffs. They lose, they're done. Mac Jones, I don't think is a bad play. I think they could possibly be chasing points, and he's only 5K. And then you got Jacoby Myers at 5,100, Tyquan Thornton at 3,300, which I don't think people realize that he is now a full-time starter, and he has been for the last few weeks. So, if you wanted to come over here and pop in a Mac Jones and, Jacoby Myers, keep an eye on these Q tags. I don't think the Q tag for Myers is that bad. Shoulder, I think they're just limiting his practice. So that, and then you got a 3,300. And of course, Aguilar and Bourne are kind of punts. I like Thornton for his upside. I think he's kind of getting into the groove now as being a rookie and all, but that's a cheap stack right there. And then do we really want to pay 7,900 for Stephon Diggs? I mean, for real, hey, 9 targets, 15, but I'm not paying 7,900 for 22 DraftKings points. I know that much. There's got to be more upside around here somewhere. So I don't know. And, just as I say this, he'll probably have 12 catches on 14 targets for $143 and 2 touchdowns. The dude has not had a game like that nearly all year. So maybe he's due. I don't know. But if they find out that, if the Chiefs win and they can't get the bye, then, what incentive do they have to play all these guys? I don't really feel like it's a lot. So you got Hunter Henry at tight end for New England. Then you got Dawson Knox. He's a Q tag as well. The New England running backs are interesting. Stevenson's down to 6,700. It was pretty much about maybe a 60-40 split. I can't recall, but Harris, they both got about the same amount of carries. and he got 3 targets out of the backfield. So that's 12 touches. And Stevenson got, 4 targets, but 10 touches. And that was just kind of a messed up game. 23-21 against Miami. Miami kind of got loose on them early and got up, so it kind of messed up things. But Stevenson should be better than that. I'm not saying go out and play him, but that's an interesting game. I don't think that the teams are going to be dialing it back. The out of these 2 games, the next one is Baltimore Cincinnati. I kind of feel like this game could be dialed back a little bit because they're a loss behind, so they're even further away from the Chiefs than they can't even get the 2 seed. The only thing that they can do with their playoff is dealer's choice. They can not, and that's kind of what teams do when they play each other, and then they have to turn right back around. They don't want to give it away, and that's the same thing with New England and Buffalo. If New England were to beat Buffalo, they're probably going to turn right around and play each other next week. So Buffalo, if they beat them, then they get Miami. So as if Miami wins, there's other scenarios. But say Baltimore and Cincinnati play, Cincinnati doesn't want it. Baltimore's in, and they're most likely going to play Cincinnati, regardless. Do you really want to show them everything you're going to do against them in this game so they can make all their adjustments? Probably not. You're probably going to see a bigger split with Mixon and Pirine. Pirine at 5,400 is not a bad idea. Burrow, I would have thought would have been the guy this week, 7,300, and him, Chase, and Higgins. All you could have mixed and matched them. Irwin's getting in the mix. I think they might be having Hurst back, yeah. So he might not be a bad idea, Hayden Hurst, but this game is kind of a stay away for me. Let's go ahead and clear that out so we don't get confused. It's a little bit of a stay away game for me. I don't think Lamar's going to play. So you got Huntley, who hasn't looked good all year. Now, I will tell you one thing. Mark Andrews finally broke out again for the first time, I think, since Huntley took over. First time in a long time, since week 6. And had no touchdowns, but nine catches on 9 targets is good for him because he was having the drops and he was having problems with Huntley getting it to him. So I'd feel pretty good about Andrews rolling. A low-key play, and I don't know if it's that low-key. Sammy Watkins came back last week for his first game action since Nam. Actually, he came back week 16 and caught that 140-yard pass, and then he didn't do anything last week. So I don't really know what's going on with him. 3,200. I mean, it's better than playing 3K scrubs that you have no idea that they ain't seen the field in their entire football lives. Like those Giants guys they were talking about. But, there's other value to be had. So I'm not going to get into that too much. The next game I wanted to talk about is our first non-incentive fun game, and that is going to be Carolina at New Orleans. And either quarterback's in play as far as I'm concerned. Sam Darnold finally got out there and chucked it 37 times. And he's sneaky Pete on the ground. He might get you a touchdown. He could have a 30-point week this week. DJ Moore is his main target. So, you're going to stack. You could just single stack Sam Darnold and DJ Moore, and then you could run it back with Olave or Shaheed, or I don't know. You might want to keep an eye on Juwan Johnson with the Q tag. But then you could go Dalton's way because Dalton's playing for a job next year, and he's only 4,800, and you can just stack him with Olave and Shaheed and call it a day. So, nobody's going to do that because Olave is a little bit of expensive at 6,200, but I feel like the rookie's going to want to close out a pretty solid campaign with a good week at home. I mean, he's had some good fantasy football weeks for a rookie. So, with not a lot of quarterback love on his team, with the injury to Winston early on in the season and whatnot. And then you got Marshall and Shi Smith. Shi Smith is getting more work in the slot than Chenault. it is what it is. I don't think I can play Kamara. This might be one of those games at 6,600, though. I've reversed that statement a hair bit. This might be the week, actually, because it's the last week of the season. Running backs don't matter. I don't know what his contract status is. He's going to be suspended next year. I can't believe he made it through the entire week, but he's getting the first 4 weeks off next year. So why not go balls out? So Alvin Kamara is on the radar. Let's do that. Let's do it. Now, running backs, Foreman and Hubbard, we've seen what they can do, but that's not what I'm not feeling it this week. So I'm going to pass on that. I had a good joke for the Baltimore-Cincinnati game, and I forgot it. So I'm going to backtrack and make that joke because I liked it. I said in the Baltimore-Cincinnati game, the Baltimore running backs, I'm going to take a pass on Baltimore's running backs because of the non-passing that they get. And the joke sounded better in my head, but you get what I'm saying. And the same thing goes for Hubbard. Hubbard's a little bit more pass catcher than Deontay, but it is what it is. On we go. I'm going to jump around a little bit. I'm going to jump down here to this Los Angeles and Seattle. Keep an eye on the weather. It's going to rain, but I don't think it's going to factor much with the wind and everything. So I think the rain's fine. And there's a ton of Q tags. This might be a good game to play Geno. I think Lockett is probably going to be okay. They're Q tagging him for not the finger, actually. It's something else. Shin. So I don't think that's any big deal. I think they're just chilling. But 6,400 and 6,700, that's iffy on the pricing. But the good thing is this is going to be a good game. Los Angeles Rams have absolutely nothing to play for. They're out of the playoffs, but they don't have a draft pick. So they can't move up in their draft order as bad as they've been this year. Their draft pick goes to Detroit. So they might as well play like they have been playing. They have been playing to win the last couple of weeks. They have been feeding the rock to Cam Akers. So he's the first guy that I would put in. And if you want to run a Geno stack, there's your run back. It's him and it's Higbee. And if you want to throw a dart at one of these Tutu Atwells or Van Jeffersons, be my guest. I can't go there with Baker, but you could run Geno and either one of these two, or if you wanted to onslaught it and play them both, you could. I mean, that's strictly GPP wise. Ken Walker, I think, is going to be a good back to have on your squad if you want to pivot off of a Geno stack. Metcalf is going to bounce back. He's going to be in a lot of my lineups this week. There's no way he's going to go out like he did last week. Now, in his defense, they got up early fast. It was a turnover, touchdown, and it was 14-6, 7, and they just kind of cruised to victory. So they didn't really need him. He only got 5 targets. So I think they're going to need him a little more this week. So Metcalf, Lockett, obviously. I would not mind. I don't know if it's I don't call it chasing, but especially if Fant misses. If Noah Fant's out, Parkinson is a play. But he's also being limited with a knee anyway. So it's always the other guy. They're like, oh, we can play Fant now because Disley's on IR. Well, what happens? The very first friggin' touchdown goes to Kobe, and he gets 7 targets for 36 yards in the touchdown, and he gets all the DraftKings points we were expecting out of Fant. And it's bizarro tight ends with this team. It's going to be the exact opposite guy you think it's going to be. So just buyer beware on that one. But that's all. And keep an eye on the weather, obviously, for that one. Minnesota, Chicago, everybody's disappointed because Justin Fields is sitting. And I agree. They're mailing it in. This game is going to mean nothing to Chicago. Fields is going to sit. Honestly, I think Montgomery, I don't know. Maybe they run him into the ground. Maybe they don't. Maybe they give a little bit more love to Herbert. Maybe they just throw it around. But it's going to be Nathan Peterman. And that automatically makes me want to click the Vikings at 2,900 because 6 INT Petermans is going to be out there flipping his Petermans around. So look out for that. He's got studs like Cole Kmet and dope wide receivers like Claypool, Pettis, and ESB, and the heir to the Pringle fortune. So dope passing options for them. The interesting thing about this game is I think that Minnesota, I don't believe that. I think they should be resting players. They might be playing like a half or treating it like a preseason game or something. So Dalvin Cook, maybe because you can run all over the Chicago team and their defense is not going to put up a fight. But Alexander Madison has been not priced like they used to price him when Dalvin Cook was weekly Q tagged. They used to price Madison in the 6,000s and it made him impossible to play him. But with him down 5,100, he could get a lot of second half work here. I could see him getting double digit carries. I don't know how many receptions he'll get, but he might, it'd be hard to get there at 5,100 though. So there might be other options out there. It was just a thought. Wide receivers. I mean, if you think they're going to try to force feed Justin Jefferson 220 yards worth of air passing this week to break the record when it's already an extra game, and B, he only got 15 yards last week and that should have ghosted it. C, they might actually need the guy for the playoffs. So do you want to get out there and throw him 15 targets and have him diving all over the field trying to break a record that he ain't going to break? Unless you get him on a 70-yarder in the first quarter, I'm not risking that shit. The guy I do like is, I still love my boy KJ Osborne. I think that they'll chuck it around a little bit. They may even sit Cousins, and I guess Mullins would come in, but Nick Mullins, he can throw it, and I think they'll let him. So there could be guys like Osborne and maybe Jalen Reagor down here. You never know. I mean, that's pure GPP speculation, but that's what you're looking at. I'd play the defense. I don't necessarily think that they have to. They don't. I don't think they're going anywhere from their seeding. This is a quick look at the playoff picture, and you can see they're 12-4. They're right there with the 49ers, but they're also there with the Cowboys who already beat them. So if they go 13-4, I don't know. I don't see an incentive here, honestly. But at least they are playing at 1:00, so they have every incentive to win. But if they're up 27-0, they're sitting their guys. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of that, this game I feel like it's a trap. Afternoon, the Giants, we already know they're resting players, but they're going to play to win. So I don't know what that means. But it probably means guys like Hodgins and James and Slayton will be out there some. We'll know before the start if Tyrod Taylor gets the nod over Danny Jones. Jones might come in for a couple series and then give way to Taylor. If Danny Jones starts this game, I definitely won't play him. I loved him last week and he came through, but I'm not playing him this week because they will sit him because they don't need to win this game. Hurts is going to play. Now, if you think what happened a few weeks ago when he scored 32 practically in one half of action, 150, he's not running for 157 yards. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. 77 and a touchdown, 30-point game against the Giants. He could do it. He could have 250 and 2 or 3 touchdowns in this game easily. 8,200. His complimentary players are expensive though. 8,000, 7,500. He's 8,200. Good luck with that. And then you got 4,900 Goddard. The Eagles D is nothing to mess with. So this could be a shutout. I mean, it could be 17-0, and they'll know if the white flag's being raised. And then you'll see Minshew come in and they'll get their number 1 seed, which they deserved. So trap game. I don't like Philly. People are going to love Philly. So if he beats me, he beats me. He's been beating me all year. I say every week to play him, and then I somehow don't get enough of him or not in the right spots. So it is what it is. This is actually one of my sneaky favorite games of the week. Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Is this finally the week Deshaun Watson has a breakout game? He's down 5,600, is as cheap as he's been since he came back. And it's amazing. He's been back 5 games already. And he didn't throw a lot last week in that Washington game. That was kind of a different scenario. But he has been running for 20 to 30 yards a game. And he could get in the end zone, which is a great start. I mean, you get 8 points from the rushing side, and you're dancing because he could throw for 276 and 2 scores in this game. And wouldn't Cleveland just love to ruin? Well, I don't know if you've ruined the season the Steelers have had. They're lucky to be in the position they are. But to knock Cleveland or to knock Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh out of the playoffs. Deshaun Watson is going to go out on a high note. So I'm feeling him. And then you got Cooper and Peoples-Jones are your obvious guys to play with him, along with Njoku. Those 3 guys, rotate them however you want. That's how we do it. I do believe that rest and hip doesn't carry an injury designation, so he's good to go. I really, really like this combo of Cooper and Jones, or you can do Njoku. I really feel good about multiple touchdowns out of those 3 receivers. Nick Chubb, he's been getting the work all year, but not out of the backfield. I think that they want to lean on Watson finishing strong more than they want. They know what they got in Nick Chubb all day long. If I was them, I would not risk him tearing his ACL in this game. So I wouldn't even play him, honestly. Now, on the other side, you got cheap. I'm not going to go with Pickett. He hasn't cracked 20 points since he took over in week 4. Najee Harris, on the other hand, is your first run back candidate. If you do stack Watson, he has been really getting a lot of work, and he seems to be finally, I won't say past that plantar fasciitis or foot, Liz Frank foot injury he had, but he's been getting the work and getting her done. He's not going to be breaking away anytime soon, but he'll want to finish on a strong note. So 6,100, more than fair. He'll probably be popular, so be aware. Wide receivers, Deontay and Pickens all day, and then Freiermuth discounted 3,800. Pat Freiermuth, thanks. For that, I mean 6-8 targets, and you drop him down to 3,800. I'll take that. So he's going to be a run back, and you could do it the same way I mentioned previously with Higbee and Akers. If you wanted to double up, you can double up with a Pittsburgh side with Najee and Freiermuth or something like that. However you want to do it. But I like that game. It's a sneaky good game. So the last game I wanted to talk about, unless something strikes me, is this Arizona at San Francisco game. Keep an eye on the weather. They are expecting rain, but it looks like there's a patch of no rain right in Sunday afternoon. But if it moves forwards or backwards, there could be showers in the forecast because there's rain everywhere else. But there's no wind, so I think you'll be okay with that. Little rain never hurt anybody, especially a football player. Now, I'm not going to play Brock Purdy at 5,700. For one, I think that's a little pricey. And they're like, oh, he's awesome. He throws it all over the field. Well, yeah, he threw it 35 times in an absolute shootout. 284 yards and 2 touchdowns, 18 points. So unless he somehow sneaks one in, he don't throw for enough yards because they love to run the rock. And that starts with our boy Christian McCaffrey. Jordan and Mason's going to be back as well. So Jordan Mason's probably going to pull a half a dozen to 10 carries in this game. I mean, they should be able to beat the brakes off of Arizona, who Arizona will be booking flights out of SOF, which is or SFO. I'm sorry, San Francisco International is SFO. They're going to Cabo, baby, and that's what's on their mind. The only 2 guys, James Conner, he always plays hard, but he's injured. And San Francisco is not letting what happened to them last week happened to them this week. They still have a chance, outside chance at the number one bye. So they're not letting that shit go down. Kittle, 6K. The one thing I will say, McBride at 3,300 got a ton of targets for new quarterback Blau. So he's in play for me. I don't think they're going to care much. The other guy I'm going to take a shot on, I took a shot on him last week because of Blau, is Marquise Brown, who can get down the field. And it's possible he was just a catch away, really a touchdown away. I mean, 9 targets, 6 for 61 was not a bad outing for 5,500, and he's down 200 more. So 3X is no problem. I think he gets in the box this week. Dortch, maybe, I don't know. I got off of him. He did get 10 targets, but I mean, 4 for 15. You had to be disappointed with that many targets. So he got his targets, and how a guy that gets targeted 4 yards from scrimmage every time only connect on 4 of 10. That's just doesn't seem right to me. But I didn't watch the film on that game. So Arizona, San Francisco. San Francisco does have a decent implied total. So, then there's other games. The Chargers in Denver. Maybe the Chargers, do they have incentive to move up? I mean, I don't know. The playoff picture says that they're like practically locked into the 5 seed. And I think actually, if one of these early games is decided, their fate is sealed. So they're going to know by game time. So they are kind of a stupid organization. So they probably will run somebody out there and get them hurt, like Eckler, or one of the other guys like Mike Williams, who's injury prone, Keenan Allen, who's injury prone. So good luck with that, Judy. So this game's, I don't know. They probably got a decent implied total, but that's another trap game to me. Everybody's going to want to chase that Eckler game from last week. This game is interesting. Washington needs to win. I don't know what Dallas needs to do, to be honest with you. I thought their fate was sealed as well. They can't even win the division, I don't think. I guess they could if the Eagles were to lose and Dallas were to win. They split the regular season, I think, head to heads, so that maybe their tiebreaker being in the conference might have something to do with it and give Dallas the nod, but that sounds like a way outside chance to me. So I'm not counting on that. So resting players, not much out of Zeke and Pollard, I don't think. This is kind of a largely avoid game. Dallas on the road against Washington. I'd play Washington's defense, honestly. Excuse me. But I guess let's see. Have we covered everything I wanted to cover? Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Tampa Bay's resting players. Atlanta, maybe there's pieces you could play. Algier, London, if you wanted to. But I don't see. I mean, Brady might want to get out there for a couple series just to stay fresh, but not much interest in that game. We've already covered all these games. Houston and Indianapolis is another one, but Indy's done. They've mailed it in. They're complete Tanksville. Houston's Tanksville. That might be the battle for the first overall pick, with Chicago wanting to lose too. So this is going to be a fight for whoever loses first. This game is interesting. The Jets at Miami, but I don't know what's going on with it. Tua looks to be out. They're not even thinking about starting him. So I'm glad I did come across this game, because Tua out. Bridgewater banged up. He can't seem to get out of his own way from getting injured. So finger knee, has a chance to be active. If he's not playing, the Jets, the Dolphins are done. Forget it. Because this other guy is Skylar Thompson is not getting it done. Their only chance is if Teddy plays. Excuse me. So the voice is kind of winding down here. So am I. Mike White, they might want to go out. I think the Jets are done. As far as I know, yeah, on the bubble, yeah, they're out. So they may want to go out on a high note with the rookies and get everybody some love and go down to Miami and celebrate a victory. So, there's pieces to be had in this game. And I'll see what's going on over the weekend with ownership and everything. And also just to polish it off, the article that I was talking about, I will keep adding. I've got these 8 games that I covered, main games, but I'll probably throw news and notes in as we go to make sure everybody's up to speed on everything for one final hurrah. And then maybe I'll do some stuff during the playoffs and stuff, especially the first week or two of playoffs. Uh, with that said, I appreciate you watching. Click the subscribe, hit that like button. The subs are going up since PGA's back. So make sure you check out the content, 100% free. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.